All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol IDEX, Ideanomics Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back, and let's jump into this chart. But as we jump into this chart, there's a lot of things to talk about, and I want to look over. But I do want to announce real quick the launch of my website. For those of you that haven't seen it, I launched it last week. There's an intro video that gives you some more information about the purpose and goal of the website. There's the forums page. In the forums page, you'll be able to access all the different forums that we're going to have this at your disposal, right? Like the stock picks forum, and we're also going to have the gathering of investors, where investors are able to go ahead and discuss other topics and learn and grow together, as well as the members options. You'll be able to choose one of the two plans, and below you can see what each one gives you access to. You definitely have to choose one of the member options to gain full access to the website. But what I do want everyone to be aware of, it's completely optional, and it's a further expansion of what goes on here in the YouTube channel. So it has additional content, but it's completely optional. And thank you for those of you that have joined, and for those of you that look forward to joining, you're more than welcome to. And those of you that have stopped by as well to check out the website, I really appreciate it. And if you haven't seen it, the link will be down below. So, IDEX, what's going on here? Well, we saw yesterday that this has been in a sideways channel. Kind of drew lines to kind of show you guys. And if it broke through support, it would see newer lows. But we still have way down here 170 as one of the most important support levels to keep in mind, because it's the lowest point after this run and in this downward direction. So 170 is probably a very important and pivotal number right now, but I pulled up some other indicators that I use when I look at charts to go ahead and kind of do a little bit more of a deeper dive into this. And we can see here, right, that every time it's about to slip below this line, right, it actually pushes itself down. So once it kind of broke through it, it was kind of fighting to stay there, and it fell right back below it. And since that point, again, it's been pushing it down. So here we go, seeing it getting pushed down. And you can see it every single time that happens. Now, these have been very close quarter moments, right, that you can see like it's right away happening. This one's kind of like right in the middle of the whole situation of that candlestick. So you would have kind of been like hesitant about it, right? So that's why these indicators, you know, when you put them all together, they help a lot. You could see right here on the edge, right there on the edge, push down. Every time it kind of gets on the edge of this, it gets pushed down. Doesn't mean that it's every single time it's going to go ahead and show you and indicate this. But so far right here, we got 2 times really close to the line, and the pushing down has started, So here we are seeing this getting pushed down to newer lows right there and right there, and here we are right now at 192. We saw some new lows here too, so we're going to look at that new support. We're going to look at our resistance levels and everything, both for jumping into the 50-day moving average and anything else. But before we do that, I wanted us to see that based off that indicator and the MACD. The MACD is going in this direction. Now, something that I'm noticing about the MACD, it's a very like subtle downward movement. It's not like a big, you know, downward slope like right here, like one of these, right? Like this section right here. I want to circle this so you can kind of have an idea. It hasn't done that yet. It's actually in the process, if it continues, of the beginning of that reaction, which is right here. Kind of just subtle, and then it dipped. So this is what we need to watch for. Now, it could be subtle, right? But it doesn't always mean that it's going to fall, because if we go right there to this section right here, this is a pretty subtle movement below the middle line, right? And then it brought itself back up, and it's been, you know, kind of volatile since then, and then that's when it ran up. But this is just an example to show you guys, you know, where we're at in this subtle movement. It's not such a deep slope, and we want to watch for this because it could be preparing for a deep slope, or it could just be subtle and it will just bring itself back up subtly as well. So there's a lot of things here going on at once. I'm pulling out all of these so you guys can kind of get an idea, right, of what's going on here. And what I want us to see is that when it gets into these dark bars and shades, that means that it's going down even harder. Like the price is going to start going down. Now it's back to light shades, and it seems like it could have a turnaround, but we need to see, because you could see every time once the light shade of red ends, a green starts. A red ends, a green starts. So this is what we need to watch for, that a light green or a dark green starts, because of the fact that it is still in the red, and it still has room for about maybe 3 more light red candlesticks. The other thing too is that the volume is really high in sales. You can see that right there. And these volumes here are in the 100,000s in these last candlesticks. That's why this right here kind of surprises me for it to be so light. And that's why we need to watch this closely, how this starts off tomorrow, because either it's preparing for what happened previously here at this time where I've circled and show you guys it's a very subtle downward movement, but we don't see any red yet, dark red yet. But once that dark red starts, yeah, we can probably see something in this type of correlation of like a smaller dip, even more than where it's at right now. It just slightly has been moving downward in that direction, and there's 2 ways it could go. We need to watch if any green pops up, and if it starts that green bar upward movement effect, which means this is going to start sloping back upwards, or does it get redder and redder, and then it's going to have one of those drops. So at the point that it's at right now, it's being pushed down. You could see every single time, and right now it's below that indicator as well. It's below the 50-day moving average for sure. It's been below it since that same day where the push down started, which was on the 9th, which was yesterday. And it's been fighting there. Now, the 50-day moving average is moving with it, but it's still moving further away than what the 50-day moving average is catching up to it. So there's a lot of things going on here at once. I don't want anyone to get confused, but I wanted to show all these indicators so that you guys can see what is going on and clearly happening. And based off of these indicators here, you could see that why it's going downwards. And if it continues in that trajectory of darker reds here, or staying even light red and moving itself up towards darker reds, then it could signify that this is on its way to newer lows. Now, it could also be towards the end of the light red here and get to green, but look what happened here. That green just held it up, and then it got redder and redder. The thing is, this is pretty unstable right now, and you don't see that red pickup. It's supposed to start up like a staircase and then end towards like a downward staircase. This is kind of just sideways, right? It's kind of just up and then down, and it's moving downwards. If this picks up tomorrow, and I mean, I still find it so kind of out of the norm for it to not be picking up right now. I don't know if it's because it's after hours, due to the fact that this has had so much volume, hundreds of thousands of shares being sold here. And that's why one of these turned dark, but then it got light again. So it's confusing with the volume right now. But tomorrow, if you put the MACD on, you'll be able to see. And if it's getting darker red, this is going to pull further down. And this is actually going to start a staircase, just like this one, in darker red form. I don't know if it's going to be this big. It could just be this big, but that's something to watch for, and it's going to pull the stock even lower. And then we have our different support levels to watch now. So let's go ahead and see that and see where we're at here with the different support levels and points of reference of where we're at. So obviously we're below the 50-day moving average. MACD is showing this is getting pushed down even lower right now, and we need to see how the volume is tomorrow starting off. And then we have the other indicator, which is a blue line as well, showing us where this has been pushed down and how it got pushed down today again, and it's currently below it. Now, if that line gets crossed, right, that blue line that we were looking at that pushed the stock down every single time, then you have to watch how significantly it gets crossed. And if it gets crossed real close, then that means it can actually start pushing itself back up. But again, it doesn't always signify that. It doesn't always signify that it's going to get pushed down. That's why you need to add other indicators and look where we're at. We're obviously in bearish territory, so the bears are doing everything to stay in control. And the closer it gets to 170, the closer it's getting to hitting newer lows. But I wanted to go ahead and show you guys, based off those other indicators, what could be happening here for tomorrow, that it can possibly continue to get pushed down. And it also has the opportunity, if the bulls reappear, to bring it up. But with the amount of volume that's pushing this down, I have a feeling that there's an opportunity there for this to actually work its way down closer to support. And if support gets touched and they use it effectively, it can actually bounce back and not continue to hit newer lows. But that's a whole nother thing to watch for tomorrow, based off the MACD and our indicator here that's been pushing the stock down. It's right now in the trajectory of getting pushed down even lower, but the last couple hours of the day is kind of hard to watch what's going on because of the fact that there's low volume. But with the volume of the day, it's been being pushed down lower and lower. So if the bulls don't come and load up on shares, this could struggle to maintain itself where it's at, or even get towards the resistance level that we're about to talk about. So the 50-day moving average is 205. And that is our indicator to let us know that we're in bearish territory or in bullish territory when we're above it. We're below it, we're currently in bearish territory. And if this works its way closer to support, it could be on its way down to newer lows and getting closer to the lowest support level here that we've been talking about, which is 170. It's currently 188, the support level that we're looking at before getting to 170. If that gets broken through, this is pulling further away from the 50-day moving average and hitting newer lows and new support levels, which is super important to keep in mind and pay very close attention to the behavior of this stock and see what is going on. Now, on the other hand, we have here our resistance. Our resistance is $2. And if that does not get broken through, the bulls aren't going to have a chance to pull this up and build momentum. They need to break through this and turn it into a support and hold themselves above it so they can work their way closer upwards to the 50-day moving average and build momentum to work their way up to newer highs and new resistance levels. So super important for the bulls to do so. Now, I want every single investor to know that breaking through this resistance just builds momentum and shows us that it's working its way up closer to the 50-day moving average as an indicator, but it doesn't signify that the bulls are guaranteed to break through the 50-day moving average and that they're going back into bullish territory for breaking through this resistance. This is just an indicator to let us know that if they turn it into a support and hold themselves above it, it could be a beginning catalyst to start to push itself up closer to newer highs and new resistance levels. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.